At the beginning of the story, we see a prison in Colorado where thousands of dangerous criminals are locked up. Hey, this is not an ordinary prison. It is a high-security facility from which escape is considered impossible. Guards keep a strict watch on prisoners 24 hours a day. Anyone who tries to escape is punished so severely that it destroys the courage of other inmates. Here, we meet a prisoner named Ray. Ray is not an ordinary inmate. He is a mastermind who has already escaped from 14 prisons. For the past several days, he has been planning his escape from this prison. Ray carefully observes the entire structure of the prison and identifies its weak points. After returning to his cell, he begins working on his plan. First, he starts counting time while sitting in his cell. After counting for 7 minutes, he notices that the guards return. This helps him realize that the guards leave their post for exactly 7 minutes every day to smoke. Although Ray understands the guards' routine, his cell is secured with an electronic lock system. To escape, he must figure out the lock's code. One day, when a guard brings him food, Ray notices a milk container. He quickly removes a plastic sheet from it. While leaving, he secretly places that plastic sheet over the electronic keypad. Later, Ray writes a letter in a secret language to his team outside, mentioning the exact date and time of his escape. When he returns to his cell and removes the plastic sheet, he is able to see the code typed by the guards. Now ready to escape, Ray makes small balls out of tissue paper. When a guard comes to deliver food, Ray stuffs the tissue pieces into the small food slot so it cannot fully lock. Everything is prepared when the guards leave for their smoking break. Ray enters the code and icily opens his cell. He moves through the ventilation system and secretly reaches the control room. At the same time, outside, a woman parks her car in the prison parking area. As she walks away, the car suddenly explodes. Hearing the blast, all guards rush toward the scene, giving Ray the perfect opportunity. Ray quickly sets his cell camera to play reverse footage, making it appear as if he is still inside. Soon, a fire brigade arrives to control the fire, disguised as a firefighter. Ray successfully walks out of the prison. A car arrives with 2 of his associates, and Ray escapes with them. However, after some distance, they drop him on an empty road, assuming he is now free. Suddenly, a police car arrives, and officers notice Ray still wearing prison clothes. They arrest him again. Just then, a man named Clark arrives and shows some documents to the police, leading to Ray's release. It is revealed that Clark is Ray's friend. He takes Ray back to the same prison's warden. The warden is shocked to see Ray and questions him. Clark explains that both he and Ray work for a security company. Ray is not a criminal. His job is to enter prisons as a prisoner and test their security. By escaping, Ray proves weaknesses in the system. He's already done this in 14 prisons. After this, Ray and Clark leave, and it is revealed that Ray is paid a large amount for this dangerous work. The next day, while Ray is in the office with his team, a CIA agent named Jessica arrives. She offers Ray a new job with double payment. She explains that there is a secret prison, considered the most secure in the world, whose location is known to only a few people. She wants Ray to prove that escape from that prison is possible. However, the condition is that Ray's team cannot help him, and no one will know his location. Ray's team rejects the offer, but Jessica provokes Ray by saying that if he refuses, she will assume his book about escaping 14 prisons is fake. This angers Ray, and he accepts the offer. Jessica explains the plan. Ray will enter the prison under the name Anthony as a smuggler. Ray asks what happens if he fails to escape. Jessica tells him to give the code 310,275 to the warden named Roger, who will then release him. Before leaving, Ray's team secretly implants a tracker in his body. But when Ray reaches a marketplace, masked men abduct him in a black vehicle and remove the tracker as if they already knew about it. Ray's team loses his signal. The kidnappers render Ray unconscious. When he wakes up, he finds himself in a strange prison with no visible walls. Prisoners are locked in glass cells, monitored by drones. Guards wear black masks, making it impossible to identify them. Seeing this, Ray realizes escape will not be easy. He approaches the warden and calls him Warden Marsh. The man corrects him. His name is Hobbs, not Marsh. Ray senses something is wrong. He gives the code 310,275. But the warden says he knows nothing about it, and that he is simply paid to keep Ray imprisoned for life. Ray realizes he has been betrayed. The next day, an announcement is made about a new prisoner named Anthony. A prisoner named Michael becomes alert upon hearing this name. Ray is brought among other prisoners. As a newcomer, he is stared at and soon attacked. Ray fights back, but he is outnumbered. Just then, Michael intervenes, threatens to kill anyone who harms Ray. Prisoners back off. As Michael is the most feared inmate, Michael approaches Ray, and Ray thanks him. Ray understands that to escape, he needs an ally, so he befriends Ray starts carefully observing every part of the prison, searching for an escape route. He notices isolation cells used for punishing rule-breaking inmates. Michael watches Ray's behavior and offers his help. Ray tells him he wants to go into the isolation cell. Michael says that Azizian suddenly attacks Ray. A fight breaks. Out between them, guards arrive, capture both of them, and the prison warden orders. Both of them are put into the isolation box, the same place where Ray wanted to go. As soon as they are locked inside, a powerful light is turned on above them. The heat from the light becomes unbearable, forcing both of them to sit down with their heads lowered. During this time, Ray notices a large iron plate fixed to the floor with nuts and bolts. After spending the entire night in extreme heat, a doctor arrives the next morning to check on their condition and opens the door. Ray asks the doctor where they are, but the doctor does not respond. A guard watching from above notices Ray trying to talk. He approaches the doctor and asks what Ray said. The doctor lies and says Ray was only complaining about dehydration due to the heat. Ray overhears this and realizes the doctor's a good person. The next day, Michael sits with Ray at the dining table and asks what he discovered in the isolation box. Ray explains that the prison must be near the sea because of the humidity in the air. He also tells him about the iron plate fixed with bolts at the bottom of the box. If he gets a piece of metal, he can open it and escape. Michael agrees to bring the metal piece the following day. The warden calls Michael and questions him about a man named Victor. Michael refuses to say anything. The warden tortures him, but Michael still says nothing. During this, he secretly steals a piece of metal, revealing that he had come here with a purpose. He later gives the metal piece to Ray. Ray is grateful and understands the risk Michael took. They begin talking. Ray asks Michael how he ended up here. Michael says he is innocent and used to work for Victor, who robbed the rich to help the poor. Ray explains that he was once a lawyer who put a criminal behind bars. That criminal escaped and killed his wife in revenge. After that, Ray dedicated his life to testing prison security. He now works for a security company and has escaped from 14 prisons in the last 4 years to expose their flaws. However, he is now trapped because the warden has read his book about those escapes and corrected all past mistakes. The warden doesn't yet know Ray's real identity and thinks he is a prisoner named Anthony. Michael reveals that this is not a government prison. It is a private prison where people pay to keep their enemies locked away. All prisoners here are innocent. Ray says they must return to the isolation box. Michael refuses at first due to the heat, but agrees after Ray insists. Ray explains the plan. Michael will scream loudly to distract the guards watching on CCTV, while Ray removes the plate and escapes through the bottom to execute the plan. Michael provokes another prisoner named Javed, causing a fight. Guards intervene and put them back into isolation boxes. Once inside, the lights turn on. Michael starts screaming loudly, distracting the guards. Meanwhile, Ray uses a piece of bread to block the camera and begins unscrewing the bolts. He removes the plate and escapes through the opening below. He moves through a passage and reaches a ventilation system, climbing up pipes. However, a pipe breaks, releasing water that starts flooding the area. Ray reaches a door and looks outside only to see endless ocean. He realizes the prison is built inside a massive ship. This shocks him, and he understands escape is nearly impossible. He rushes back, knowing the flooding could expose him. Meanwhile, water fills the isolation boxes. The warden orders guards to evacuate prisoners. Before guards reach Ray, he manages to return, fix the plate, and remove the bread from the camera. He is safely taken out. Elsewhere, Ray's team becomes worried and visits Clark. Clark pretends to help, but secretly calls the warden and reveals Ray's true identity. It turns out Clark betrayed Ray to take control of the company. Now aware of Ray's identity, the warden orders a guard to torture him. Ray is beaten and mentally broken, losing hope of escape after realizing the prison is in the middle of the ocean. The next day, Michael asks what Ray saw. Ray tells him the truth and says escape is impossible, but Michael encourages him not to give up and reminds him of revenge. Motivated again, they begin planning to find their location Michael intentionally injures Ray so he can visit the doctor. Ray tries to get information but fails. However, he steals a white sheet. Later, Ray and Michael use glasses from another prisoner and create a device using the sheet. This device can help determine their location using the star's butt for that. They must reach the ship's roof at night.